Hey there, Jason Podolin, back with another bonus episode of the review of the first 100 episodes. This has been fun, a little walk down memory lane. We're now into section episodes 31 through 40. And 31 is actually an amazing discussion with Nathan Lafayette. He was a teammate of mine back with the Lowell Lock Monsters. And we played together out there, and that was under Bruce Boudreau, who was there at the time. So Laffy and I played in Lowell. Nathan Lafayette might be a name for Canucks fans that you recognize, as he was a part of that team to win to the Stanley Cup final against the New York Rangers. He was also the one that hit the post, I think it was to tie the game or maybe to go up by one in game 6 or 7. Geez, I can't remember all the details now. But awesome human being, like really top shelf human being, and of black ancestry. His father is African American, and Nathan went through some stuff with the St. Louis Blues and during his hockey career that we discussed. Now, Nathan, it's one of the best discussions I've had about diversity and inclusion and what that means and what the experience is for someone of that background and that ancestry. And it was because Nathan's just like, he's a insurance guy now, and he leads lots of people. He's a leader of men, and he's very poignant, and he's very rational and pragmatic. So as much as it is an emotionally charged topic, to me, he doesn't come across as it from a super emotional spot, which makes the conversation a bit easier. I found a really touchy subject matter that it's hard to have those conversations, especially being a white male, right? And somebody who has no idea about any of it. But as somebody who does care, and somebody who wants to understand, and somebody who wants to be able to share the story, those conversations can be challenging. But Nathan made it really, really easy. And it's not that we only talked about that, but I really felt that as far as from what Up My Hockey is, which is, the holistic development of the person and of the sport, I feel, trying to bring the sport forward and move it forward, that Nathan did an amazing job of sharing some of his experiences, and even had some ideas, right? Which is I think is even better, about how to potentially move it forward, right? How to make this thing better, how to shine a light in some places that need to be seen, so we can move forward with some progress. And so Nathan was awesome. That was one of my highest actually downloaded episodes at the time. Well, and still is. Just because it came, I believe, a little bit outside of the circles of hockey. So, his story as a hockey player is great, and his experience there. But I think that just like what we were touching on there, as far as race, but also as far as like leadership and culture building, because that's what he's doing now outside of the sport. So it's a really, really fantastic conversation, and one I suggest that you look at. As I go here, probably another couple are next in line. They're Tyson Nash and David Scatchard, both players that I played against in junior and in pro, and both great guys and both really good. Like Tyson was a very entertaining interview. If you've heard him do the color for the Coyotes, he's a TV personality. He makes people laugh, and he's just he's an off the cuff kind of guy that I enjoyed speaking with. And his story about getting to the NHL is really fantastic. But Dave Scatchard, like this one. He tells a couple stories, like his own personal journey, like the stories within his own personal journey, like a guy that he would self-assess as being somebody that potentially shouldn't have made it. But if you're into hearing about character and will and want and pursuit and dedication and a willingness to do things to get you to your goals and dreams, then that is an episode that you definitely want to listen to, and that's episode 33. He tells a story in that about making the Portland Winterhawks that every time I hear it sends goosebumps down my spine, and it's one that I share with my athletes. It's actually in my Peak Potential project that I cut and clipped that one, because it's a great example of one of the controllables that I call, which is effort, and how effort can be a separator. And it's easy to talk about hard work, but you really need to hear it in the context of a story of what hard work actually means and what does it look like and how can it actually separate you from the pack. And Skatch's story there of his, in his 16-year-old year trying to make the Portland Winterhawks in this defining moment, as he calls it, in his career, is awesome. And the whole episode is scattered with stuff like that. So that's episode 33. And then the other two that kind of stand out, well, one, Bruce Boudreau. I mean, it was special to interview him. He was my coach, so it wasn't like I'd never talked to him before. I didn't know what he was about, but he's definitely become this endearing figure, especially out west here with what happened with him with the Vancouver Canucks. So a little bit, maybe if you want to revisit like that conversation, if you are a Bruce Boudreau fan, or if you're somebody that's he's just come on your radar now in the last little while with his firing and the Woot or Bruce, there it is. When he was getting fired and the whole thing with Rutherford, it kind of it was a national sort of spotlight on what was happening with Bruce Boudreau there. So I had 90 minutes with Bruce back in October of 2020, and he is what he is. I mean, he's a straight ahead kind of guy. What you see is what you get with him, and you see in that interview why he is so endearing to many people in the press and with the fans and with many of his players as well. So yeah, that's a really good interview. And then the other one, if you want to hear about a story of a guy, like if you're a story about pursuit, and if you're a story about patience and dedication and attention to detail and the willingness to evolve your game, Jared Smithson episode 38 is fantastic. It's a story of him not being a junior star, of him not necessarily being a minor hockey star, about him, being good enough and to understand what he is to become an AHL regular, which is no small feat in of itself, but was never somebody that would wow you, was never somebody that would, go end-to-end and score the game-winning goal, but was able to craft out like a 700-game NHL career starting at the age of about 26 after he'd been in the minors for a while. And just like that story, like those types of stories, I just love. And again, Jared is a local guy here. He's somebody that I see from time to time. Our kids go to the same school, and like I said, 700-game Nashville Predator. That's where he got his start. He was also in Toronto, and I believe he spent some time in Edmonton, and he ended up being like an NHL regular for years after kind of not getting a sniff until 25, 26 years old, and his story of how that happened, the attention to detail, the personal development that he went through is awesome. So those are my top picks for that segment. Some real good stuff there, and yeah, I mean, take a look. Put them. I don't know what you can do. You bookmark them or whatever they do to listen to later. But if that's a section there that you haven't been experienced, lots of good stuff in that group, in that grouping of episodes. So thanks again for taking this walkthrough with me. I hope that helps you direct your attention to some episodes that are facing backwards. If you're ever in the car and there's nothing new for you to listen to, then go back and check out a couple of those. And appreciate you being here with me and appreciate all the support. Until next time, play hard and keep your head up.